I got it. What is going on, everybody? Today we are back, and today it is time for 2022 NFL Week 12 Thanksgiving Turkey Day predictions. Yes, I know it has been a couple weeks since I've filmed one of these videos. I believe week 10. I don't remember if I did one week 10. Otherwise, no. Holy smokes, it's been a long time since I've done one of these. The last one I did was week 7. That was a long time ago. So that's actually pretty insane. So it has clearly been a long time since the last video I made. With that being said, here we go. Last week, I actually had a resurgence in my predictions. Last week, I went 10 for 14, which is one of the best weeks I've ever had. Actually, I'm going to look back on the history. Week 7, I also went 10 for 14. I went 12 for 16 in week 4. 10 for 16 in week 3. Yeah. So I had a very good week of predictions last week. It upped my completion percentage, or excuse me, my QBR. I call it my QBR. My target QBR is 58.01. By the way, if you don't know how I got that number, obviously, as you can see, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, so I took Kirk Cousins' QBR in his career. I averaged it, and he has an average QBR of 58.01. So that is the QBR I am looking for. My current QBR is 58.54. So I am 0.53 QBR points above Kirk Cousins. This is the first time this whole season that I'm above my target percentage. I haven't been above my target percentage at all this year. So this is my first time. So I am taking these moments in and hoping for another week of great predictions. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing the early, late, and Thursday night football game for tomorrow, Thanksgiving. But for the Sunday and Monday games, which are obviously the rest of the week 12 games, those will be coming in a separate video, everybody, on Friday. I will be filming those Friday sometime early afternoon or late afternoon. I'm not quite sure yet, but I don't have school on Friday, so I will be filming the week 12 Sunday, Monday games on Friday, not in this video. This video is just for the 3 Thanksgiving games: Bills, Lions, Giants, Cowboys, Patriots, Vikings. So with that being said, I think I am ready to get into the predictions this week. Here we go. That is the first game, everybody. It is the Detroit Lions, and they are taking on the Buffalo Bills this week. The Buffalo Bills, the Buffalo Bills are coming off of a victory. They were playing in Detroit actually last week because the game was moved from Highmark Stadium due to the snowy conditions. I believe it snowed 80 inches in Orchard Park, New York, which is absolutely unbelievable and mind-boggling. The Bills won 31-23 against the Cleveland Browns. Josh Allen threw 197 yards. He had 1 touchdown. It was to Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen has not been playing super great over the past few weeks now, but the Bills were finally able to pick up a win coming off of their loss to the Minnesota Vikings 2 weeks ago. As far as the Detroit Lions, they're coming off of a victory over the New York Giants. The Giants lost 31-18. Jared Goff had 165 passing yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown with 76 receiving yards. The Lions played very well last week. I did not think they were going to play as well as they did. I thought they were going to be down and out for the season. But the Lions have now won 3 straight games, and they are back in the thick of the... Well, I'm not going to say they're in the thick of the NFC playoff race. But, hey, I'm never... In the words of Justin Bieber, I will never say never. For this game, the Buffalo Bills are currently favored by 9.5 points. This was a pretty difficult pick for me. I am actually going to go with the Detroit Lions plus 9.5. I like how the Lions have won 3 games in a row. They have been playing actually very good football. Dan Campbell has reinvigorated the team with a new energy. Excuse me. The Bills are coming off of a loss to the Jets 2 weeks ago, a loss to the Vikings last week, and they beat the Browns by 8 points last week in a game they should have won, honestly, by more. Bills are still a very high-powered team, but they haven't been whooping opponents like we expect them to be able to. If you're a super... Well, actually, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say if you're a Super Bowl team, you should be able to blow out opponents, but a victory is a victory, and I understand that. But for the amount of talent the Bills have, they should be able to win over the Browns by more than 8 points. But, what am I to say about it? I'm going to be taking the Detroit Lions in this game at plus 9.5. I do think for sure the Bills are going to win this game. I would be very impressed if the Lions were able to pull off the victory. But I do like the Lions to keep it close. This game will not be a blowout for either side. Also, for anyone that cares, the Bills will be wearing white tops with blue pants, and the Lions will be wearing their Color Rush uniforms, which are all gray, or all silver, whatever you want to call them. Looks pretty similar to their helmets. So that is it for that game. I will be going with the Detroit Lions plus 9.5. I like the fight they have in them, and I like them to keep it a close game. Now we move to the afternoon game on Fox. This is the most difficult game for me to predict. It is the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys in an NFC East showdown. Oh man, I can't talk. I said it wrong twice. That game right there is my second favorite of the week to the Minnesota Vikings. I do have to throw that plug in. It is the New York Giants, and they're taking on the Dallas Cowboys this week. This is going to be a really good game. Also, before I forget, I forgot to share the standings for the two teams in the first game. The Buffalo Bills are currently 5th in the AFC with a record of 7-3. And as far as the... Wow, the Bills are 0-2 in division. That's not going to bode well for them if they're looking to win the AFC East. As far as the Detroit Lions, they are currently 10th in the NFC with a record of 10-6. They're a half game behind the Falcons, and they are a full game. No, they're a game and a half behind the Commanders, who are 8th, and they are 2 games behind the Seahawks for the number 7 seed. That moves us into the afternoon game on Fox. Yep, we will be having Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen on the call, I would presume. It is the New York Giants, and they're taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are 5th in the NFC with a record of 7-3. The New York Giants are 6th in the NFC, also with a record of 7-3. The New York Giants are coming off of a loss against the Detroit Lions. I already briefly mentioned it. Daniel Jones actually had a really good game. He had 341 yards and a passing touchdown, so very good game for him. He also had a rushing touchdown in the game to go with it. He was the team's leading rusher. Wan'Dale Robinson was the leading receiver for the New York Giants. He had 9 catches for 100 yards in the game. Unfortunately, Wan'Dale Robinson tore his ACL in the game, and he will be out for the season, which is a really bad break for the Giants. As far as the Dallas Cowboys, they are coming off of an absolute slaughtering of the Minnesota Vikings. As a Vikings fan, normally I would sit in the puddle of pity and feel bad for this team, but hey, you got to move on. And I've already moved on. I'm getting ready for Thursday night against the Patriots. I'm not sulking in tears over the Cowboys game. Actually, I'm not going to say my take on the Cowboys-Viking game. I'll do it when I talk about the Vikings in the next game here. Cowboys are coming off of a 40-3 victory over the Minnesota Vikings. Dak Prescott had a pretty good game. He threw for 276 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tony Pollard went absolutely nuts in the game. He had 80 yards rushing, 109 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns receiving. Ezekiel Elliott also had 2 touchdowns on the ground. For 40 points, it is actually kind of surprising to think about the fact that the Dallas Cowboys only scored 4 touchdowns in the game. As a Viking fan, it seemed like they were just scoring touchdowns over and over, and it got annoying. Obviously, Ed Donatel needs to go. For this game, currently the Dallas Cowboys are favored by 10. This is a really hard game for me to pick, to be honest. I'm actually switching my pick on the spot right now. I had a different prediction, but I'm switching it on the spot. I initially had New York Giants plus 9.5 because the spread was 9.5, but it's down to up to 10 now. and I'm going to be taking the Dallas Cowboys minus 10. I understand 10 is a really big number, but they're coming off of an absolute destruction show against the Minnesota Vikings. The Dallas Cowboys defensive line, dude, as a Viking fan, I never fully appreciated Micah Parsons until I watched that game. Micah Parsons is a really, really good football player, and I'm going to admit it right here. Even against Christian Darrisaw, before Darrisaw suffered a concussion in the game, and Christian Darrisaw, the left tackle for the Minnesota Vikings, is one of, if not the single best tackle in the entire NFL, and Micah Parsons was beating him, and yeah, Micah Parsons is a great player, and he's going to be a great player for a long time. So I'm going to be going with Dallas minus 10 this game. I understand that 10 points is a big number, but the Giants are coming off of a pretty bad loss last week. Brian Daboll, again, he's in his first season head coaching. The team has been playing really well, but do I really trust Daniel Jones to be able to go into Dallas and take a victory over the high-powered Dallas Cowboys team? They have a really good offense. They have a really, really good defense as well. The Cowboys are going to be a really good team when it comes to January, and I'm going to be here to admit it. I like the Dallas Cowboys minus 10 in this game, considering how well they played last week. Their running backs, Pollard and Zeke, both played really well, and their pass rush was absolutely unbelievable, and they wreaked some major havoc on the Viking offensive line. I like the Cowboys in that game. Next up, that moves us into my team, the Minnesota Vikings, hosting the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football, but on a Thursday on NBC. Here we go. Okay. That is our final game to close out the Thanksgiving slate tomorrow. The New England Patriots are traveling into US Bank Stadium to face off against my team, the Minnesota Vikings. The New England Patriots are coming off of a 10-3 victory over the New York Jets last week. That game, well, not necessarily. I was going to say that game single-handedly caused the benching of Zach Wilson at quarterback for the Jets, but it really didn't. Zach Wilson is kind of a domino effect, but that was just the icing on the cake. The New England Patriots are currently 6th in the AFC with a record of 6-4. The Minnesota Vikings are currently 2nd in the NFC with a record of 8-2. The Patriots are coming off of a 10-3 victory over the New York Jets, like I talked about. Game was an absolutely crazy ending. I was watching it live. CBS in the area here in Minnesota had the bonus coverage of that game, so I saw the punt return. I believe it was Marcus Jones was his name. I saw his game-winning punt return, and I won't lie, the first thing I thought of was Deshaun Jackson when I saw that. That was a crazy ending to that game. Kudos to the Patriots. They only put up 10 points, but their defense was so good, that was all they needed to take the victory. As far as individual players for the Patriots are concerned, Mac Jones put up 246 passing yards on the day, so he had a pretty good day. I still think Bailey Zappi should be the starter for the Patriots. I don't see why they really took him out, but, what am I to say about it? And, that's that. That is the Patriots. They have a really, really good defense. Their offense isn't very good, but they do have a really good defense led by Matthew Judon, their star pass rusher. I believe is listed as an outside linebacker. Really good player. I really like their defense. As far as the Minnesota Vikings are concerned, I already kind of talked about it earlier. Excuse me, I might have to sneeze here. All right, thank you. I'm not going to cut that out of the video. Again, the Vikings are coming off of a 40-3 loss against the Dallas Cowboys. As a Viking fan, it was the single worst blowout game I've ever seen before. The Vikings, it couldn't have been any worse for the Vikings. And Kirk Cousins only threw 105 yards in the game. Dalvin Cook had 72 yards. Okay, I do have a question. I don't understand why Kevin O'Connell stopped giving the ball to Dalvin Cook. I understand they were down by a lot early, but at halftime they're down 23-3. But mid-second quarter, They weren't down by a whole lot. They were down by 2 scores. So I don't understand why they didn't run it against the Cowboys defense more than they did. Because sure, the Cowboys have really good defense, but they don't have a really good run defense, and they gave up a whole bunch of yards to Aaron Jones the week before. So I just don't understand why Kevin O'Connell didn't run the ball more than he did. And maybe that also does play into the fact that the Viking defense couldn't stop the Cowboys offense. But I don't know. That is just one question I have. TJ Hawkinson, believe it or not, was the leading receiver for the Vikings. He had 5 catches for 34 yards. Yes, the leading receiver for the Vikings had 34 yards. Justin Jefferson did not do anything whatsoever, but I'm going to absolve him, and I'm also going to absolve Kirk Cousins. It was not Kirk's fault. It was not Justin Jefferson's fault that the Viking offense was straight up booty. The offensive line was bad. First of all, Christian Darrisaw, the stud left tackle for the Vikings, went out with a second concussion in 2 weeks now, I believe. I believe that was his second concussion in 2 weeks. And actually, he's going to be out for this game. And I would presume Christian Darrisaw is probably going to be out for a few more games as they try to keep him healthy, because health is obviously the first priority of the player. And then Ezra Cleveland, I didn't notice anything too bad from him. Honestly, their offensive line was a whole blur. Garrett Bradbury did not have a great game. Also, the Vikings right guard, who's a rookie from LSU, Ed Ingram, he did not have a great game either. Even Brian O'Neill got beat a few times. Like I said, Darrisaw got beat. Then he went out in the game, and the Vikings brought in their backup swing tackle, Blake Brandel, and he got absolutely cooked by Micah Parsons. So yeah, it was, dude, I'm not kidding. Literally every time Kirk dropped back, there was already like 2 pass rushers already on him by the time he was able to turn around and prepare to throw the ball. Like, I'm not kidding. It was awful. Vikings offense, it was not Kirk's fault. It was not Jefferson's fault. It was really not anyone other than the offensive line's fault. Their run blocking was okay, but the pass blocking was one of the most god-awful games I've ever seen before. It was unbelievable. And the Viking defense was so bad. The Vikings need to fire Ed Donatel, their defensive coordinator. But the problem is, I mean, it's good actually problem. The Vikings are 8-2, so there's no way they're going to fire their defensive coordinator. But it is an eyesore to watch some of their defensive schemes and some of the just defense. Oh man, yeah. Then it's also might be skewed because I'm a Viking fan, and in the past I have tended to be negative on my own team. So maybe that is why I'm absolutely roasting on Ed Donatel, is maybe just because it's my own team. So, and I want this team to play better. I always want them to play better. I want championships, not first round exits, which is why I tend to be so critical on teams. But yes, currently the Vikings are favored in this game by 2.5. Currently, up until this point, I believe only once this whole season have I ever picked against the Vikings. I believe. I picked against the Vikings in week 3. The Vikings played the Lions, and I picked Lions +4 because the week before that, the Vikings got absolutely blown out by the Eagles. So I thought, okay, we're going to be going with the Lions in this game. Turns out the Vikings won, and then they reeled off 7 wins in a row before falling to the Cowboys. And with that being said, I'm going to be picking the Patriots in this game. Maybe reverse psychology is going to come into play again. Maybe superstitions, even though I don't believe in superstitions. Superstitions are one of the dumbest things. Sorry if I offended anyone, but honestly, that is what I think. Superstitions are one of the dumbest things. So I don't care. I'm going to be... So actually, superstitions will be going in my favor if I pick the New England Patriots. But I'm going to be going with the Patriots. They have a really good defense, and so do the Cowboys. The pass rush for the Patriots defense does worry me, considering how the Viking offensive line fared last week. And with Christian Darrisaw out for this game again, I would not be surprised to see Matthew Judon get home a couple times in this game. Vikings, I would obviously like to pick them because they're my team, but, you know, I got to remain unbiased up in here. And if I'm being completely honest, I do think the Patriots, with Bill Belichick on a short week, he is going to be studying Kirk Cousins' tendencies in this offensive line, and he is going to let their defensive pass rushers feast. I think the not Cowboys, but I do honestly think the Patriots are going to be feasting on the Viking offensive line, which is unfortunate. Huh? What? Obviously, I want the Minnesota Vikings to be able to take this game. I want the Viking pass protection to hold up. Obviously, why would I ever go against my team? But here, I do like the Patriots. I like the position they're in this game. And until I see the Vikings bounce back, I won't be picking them again. I need to see them play well again. Even though, hey, I'm not going to get mad at them. Last year in games, when Mike Zimmer was the head coach, I would go on 10-plus minute rants about the team because of how frustrated I was and how dumb things, and every time they got blown out, and I got frustrated at the team, so I would go on rants about it. But you'd think, considering how bad the Vikings played last week, I'm going to come out here and give another 10-minute rant like I did last year, but I'm not. I trust this team to bounce back. They have a new energy to them. I think they're going to put last week's game in the garbage and say, you know what? Last week is last week. This week is this week. I don't care about the Dallas game. This is the present. We are going to focus on the Patriots. I really hope that's what they do. But I am not going to lie. I am just kind of rambling now. But I'm going to be going with the New England Patriots plus 2.5 in this game. Obviously, I would love for the Vikings to win. You already know. But considering the position the Patriots are in, I like their pass rush. I like Bill Belichick. And I don't like Mac Jones, but the other factors play into the pick in the game. New England plus 2.5. Well, that is going to be doing it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like on the video. Follow my Twitter, because maybe I'm going to be tweeting out some takes during the game tomorrow. So follow my Twitter if you want to see some takes during the Viking game, beginning at 7:20 p.m. Central Time. Oh, also, I forgot to talk about jerseys for the last two games. The Giants, I believe, are wearing all white, and the Cowboys are wearing throwback jerseys with white helmets. And the Patriots are wearing white tops, but I don't know what pants. I don't think they've announced it, at least as of a few hours ago. And the Vikings will be wearing their color rush jerseys. And again, the Vikings are only 3 away from clinching the NFC North. And if the Vikings clinch the NFC North, I will buy a color rush jersey. I just don't know what player. I know I tweeted out, and it's my pinned tweet on my Twitter account. I said Kirk Cousins, but it probably won't be Kirk Cousins. But you never know. But yeah, we'll see. I'll be buying a color rush jersey if and when the Vikings clinch the NFC North. But they will be wearing their color rush jerseys tomorrow night. And that'll do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and share with your friends if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. I will see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a good night. Peace out. And as always, Skol Vikings. I will see you guys on Friday for the Sunday and Monday games. Skol. Alright, that's a wrap, boys and girls.